My staff, they're all kids. I didn't even think they knew who Billy Joel was. Touche. Anyway, parents probably wish they were hearing those words right now. But new numbers show millennials can't move out of the house and are having an even harder time moving up at work. Why? Let's ask two young Americans who might know a thing or two about it, Alexander Smith and Charlie Kirk. Alexander, what's going on?
What we see here is classic top-down Washington control. We have over-regulation by the Obama presidency here, controlling the job opportunities through harmful measures like Obamacare, and really hurting millennials' chances at getting a job.
All right, so Charlie, they're in a lockdown. They can't get out, can't move up. They're still stuck at home. What happens?
Absolutely, and I agree with what Alex said. I think that there's another interesting wrinkle to this. I think that when employers say that 10% of college graduates are properly equipped to enter the workforce, I think we need to blame another institution, and that is, are we properly equipping and training the next generation to enter this workforce? When 40% of all college graduates have degrees in soft social sciences like philosophy or something that doesn't reciprocate in value, we are just creating a generation of unemployed workers. And there's a good reason why that they're living in their parents' basement and they can't move out or move up in this economy, because they have a degree or they've gone so far into debt to try to train themselves without anything of reciprocating value. So I think there's a definite public policy side, but I also think that there's a compelling argument to be made is, are we creating a culture to get the next generation of workers properly trained and equipped and educated so that they can find employment as they enter the workforce?
We look to Washington, though, but Alexander, how much is this parents' fault? We baby our kids, myself included.
Well, I think that millennials really are an optimistic bunch. I mean, we found that through the CRNC's research, that millennials see a bright future for themselves. They're worried about the economy, but they generally see a bright future for themselves. This is one of the most entrepreneurial generations that we have. But at the same time, as the new report suggests, the economy is stagnant for them. The jobs just aren't there, and the jobs that they have, they keep. They don't move from job to job. And that's harmful, because when you're able to move from job to job, that was an opportunity to build up your resume, to really leverage your experience to get a higher wage at another job. And so we see that this lack of competition is really hurting millennials' chances to build something of their own.
How much of it is just their fault? Either they're not working hard enough, they're trying to blame anyone but themselves, et cetera, et cetera.
I'm not sure that
I think a lot of it. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Alex.
No, I'm not sure that it's millennials' fault so much as the fact that the economy and the jobs that were promised by this president weren't there for them. This was a president that went around from college campus to college campus on his re-election tour in 2012, promised that he was going to lower the cost of higher education to help it make it easier when you got out of school to pay back your student loans. He was going to create jobs, and he just didn't do that. This was the generation that elected this president, and he has failed to deliver on it. Youth unemployment's about 14.5% right now. That's not much different than it was on November 6, 2012.
So where is all of this going, Charlie? If they don't change either their view or they're still in their parents' basement, by the way, they can also be the attic, but then what happens?
I think that we are going to be encountering a generation that is so anti-establishment, anti-Washington, and anti the policies that have been passed the last 6 years or decade, that we are going to look for a generation that wants an alternative point of view. And to kind of second
wait
what
a minute,
Alex
Charlie,
has been saying.
Careful what you're saying there. Would that then mean that they would be open to not having their loans forgiven, to not having the government step in and rescue them? Because that means tough love for themselves from themselves.
I agree with you that millennials will always want what helps them the most, and student loan forgiveness sounds really good and all these big government packages. But if you boil it down and you ask a young person, do you like big government, and do you think that the growth of the state has helped you personally, most young people will say no, and they're distrustful of politicians or government at large. And just to second what Alex has been saying, I think more young people are hiding from their nightmares than pursuing their dreams. I think young people are scared. They're uncertain about this economy, and they want to take the safe bet, and more times than not, that means living in their basement, listening to Billy Joel, which I don't know as well, Neil, but I'll tell you, young people are forced into those kind of environments more times than not, unfortunately, because of big government policies and the uncertainty that it creates.
I'll just tell you, kids, that we didn't start the fire. I don't know. Guys, thank you both very, very much.